Just a reminder to those who have your cameras off, if you can turn them on now, that would be great. But we're going to welcome Elliot. I see you're here, Elliot. Thank you so much for joining us today, giving us your time, spending some time with our members here. I'm going to give you a quick rundown, Elliot, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for
Kind of
having
who
me
you're
on.
looking at, who this group is, and a little bit of background here. So the official name of this group is the Sheeks Freaks Mastermind Group, but basically what it is, it's young people from across the United States, I would say between 15 and 24 now, 24 years old. They're all very interested in real estate investing, but more than that, they're interested in mindset, frugality, early financial independence, investing, side hustles, they are hustlers, man. And this is an elite group of young people who I would say are the top 5% of those overachievers that are just out there crushing it. And I always say, I think to see where all of these young people are in 5 or 10 years is going to be amazing. Even just to see where they've come in about a year's time. So that's the commonality that's brought all of these young people together.
Okay.
Now I asked them all to watch your TED Talk before jumping on the call tonight. And I'm sure some of them did, but maybe not all of them did or had an opportunity to do so. But I watched your TED Talk. I also watched the Channel 9 News piece about you here in Denver.
Yep, they just put that out. Yep, it's coming out tomorrow, airing on the news. Yeah.
Oh, it hasn't even aired yet. It was.
Yeah, they did like little cuts on their like YouTube channel and stuff like that. But I think that it airs on 9 News tomorrow night, I believe.
Got it. Okay. So I was one of the first to see it.
Yes.
I feel special. But your story, Elliot, man, it is pretty amazing. And I think having you on today is going to be special for the group because pretty much everybody in this group is very, very interested in things like mindset, overcoming fear, overcoming adversity, being a leader, staying motivated, and these kinds of things. And that seems to be like right up your wheelhouse. That seems to be like the message that you carry to a lot of people whenever you speak, and just kind of what you embody. So normally what we do, Elliot, in meetings like this is we have the guest give a 10 or 15 minute background, like your story. And then we go into Q&A. I don't know if that's going to be the best fit for tonight's meeting because I think you have a lot more to share.
Okay.
As more of a
I'm good. I'm good at playing it by ear. We'll just see where it goes.
All right.
Doesn't whatever you want, however you want to roll it, Dan.
All right. One quick random question.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know a guy named Louis Songeroth?
No, I don't think so, but it's possible.
All right.
Well, if you showed me a picture of him, I maybe.
Not important. I just thought.
Okay. No worries.
Same circle. All right. And then one cool fact here. There is a young lady on this call. If you see her, Sanibel Carter. She lives in Boulder, and she's.
Yeah, I know Sanibel. I was looking right at her. I was like, oh, there she is. Hell yeah. What's up,
Professor?
How's your mom? How's your dad?
Everyone's great. Yeah.
Good. I'm a little crazy with pandemic here, but good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. So Sanibel's been a member of this group, I would say 6, 7, 8 months. And she's awesome. And for those who don't know the connection here, so Elliot has a few jiu-jitsu studios in Colorado, and Sanibel has been a student at one up in Boulder for, I'm not sure how long, but it sounds like quite a while. And so Elliot is Sanibel's coach at the studio sometimes. So
I haven't had the pleasure to teach her yet. I teach mostly at the Denver school, but I know they're at that, and she's at the Boulder school. But yeah, she is an amazing student and athlete and just all around human being. I hear so much about her from my other coaches that tell me. So yes, I haven't had the pleasure yet. So.
Well, that's kind of a cool little connection here. It's a small world. All right, Elliot. So I'm just going to turn it over to you. I know it's going to be tough, but if you could give us a 10 or 15 minute rundown of your story. It doesn't, I mean, give or take, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, we'll just go through it. Man, first of all, guys, thanks everyone for joining in. Some of you sent me some messages already on Instagram, so I really appreciate that. before we even jump into my message, I guess, you know, I know Dan said this whole thing is about mindset and whatnot, and like grasp and like charging entrepreneurship. Man, don't ever say no to anything. You know, don't say no to anything when you're trying to do it. And even for me right now, right, I'm trying to do this thing where I want to inspire people. I want to inspire people more. And my buddy Ryan Harris, who's your friend, right, Dan? You know Ryan. He hit me up, I don't know, Friday night, I think it was. I don't even know when it was. Thursday night. And I was in Vegas. I have a fighter. She fought in the UFC last night. And I knew I was going to be up all night because you don't sleep after fights. And he was like 6 p.m. on Sunday. And I was, yes. Like, yes. So man, don't say no. I'm exhausted, but I'm going to bring you all the energy I can because it doesn't matter. This is what I want to do. And it sounds like you guys are all like that too. So there's no no's in the world. If you want it, you know, if you want it, there's no no's. And don't let anybody tell you no, because you can always make it happen. You know, both. Don't say no and don't let anybody tell you no. My story, I grew up in a very interesting time. I was born in 1980, and I have an African-American father and a Jewish mother whose parents survived the Holocaust. So concentration camp survivors. And and you got to remember 1980s, this wasn't so kosher. You know, this was a little bit interesting. This was created a very interesting dynamic for both me and my sister in the fact that we were always other. There was no one like us whatsoever, where we grew up. And we grew up in this really small town where, you know, the high school quarterback was going to be the high school quarterback because his granddaddy was, and his dad was, and his big brother was. And we moved to this town and we were these weirdos, you know. We moved to this town when I was about 8 years old. And I had an amazing nuclear family, like absolutely amazing. My mom, my dad, my grandparents, like I couldn't have had, I'm sure you all, there's no way that you're all on this call without having great parents. I hate to tell you, you don't have better parents than mine. So my parents were so amazing. So I was loved and everything. But there comes a point, right? And you guys are all experiencing this right now. Some of you younger people, right, that are in their teens, your parents can't give you what you need anymore, right? Like it's gone. They can't do it for you. You need the outside world a little. And ever since we moved to this town, the outside world told me no. You know, my house was spray painted with swastikas, Nigers. The first couple times they spelled the word wrong. You know, Nigers go home. They got it right after a couple more times. But this was my existence. You know, this was my existence. And I was allowed to go play outside with people, but I wasn't allowed to go in their house when it was time to, like, you know, there's time when everybody's going to go play video games now. Elliot had to go home, you know, because their parents weren't okay with the mixture of what I was, of who my parents were and what they were doing. School was worse, you know, because I was alone, right? I was alone. I would walk the halls alone. I would sit at lunch alone, right? Like I was never with anybody. I was always an outcast. The one place I did have, though, is I had martial arts, you know, in the martial art, I was doing karate ever since I was 6 years old. And that was my safe place, you know, as unsafe as it was, because martial arts puts pressure on you, makes you learn, it teaches you how to fight. And this is, I still believe to this day, what a real safe space is. A safe space is a place where it demands so much of you. You know, it demands so much of you and it asks so much of you. You know, you're physically safe, right? But from my perspective, man, and if you're in a physical danger, walk into 7-Eleven and somebody in there's going to help you out, right? So like as long as there's more than one person, somebody's going to be like, yo, get away. So karate was that for me. And I had it all my whole life. But my life took a little change. And this is why I ended up fighting in the UFC. And this is why I marched down this road of being a professional fighter, was that towards the end of my childhood, my high school years, I learned this stuff called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I saw it for a minute. Somebody showed it to me and it was new. Nobody knew what it was. And I went back to school. I learned a little bit over the summer. And I went back to school and I told some people that I knew, and some of the wrestlers heard about it. And when they heard about it, they were like, yeah, we'll smash you. And look, they just wanted to beat me up and make more fun of me, probably, right? Well, that didn't happen. I beat them. And people started to like me a little bit. So right there became the catalyst for why I wanted to charge after fighting, because now I could be safe. Now I could have friends. Now people would love me. Now I didn't have to worry about if I was going to be all by myself for the rest of my life. But that created a lot of pressure, right? I moved to Colorado, and it creates a ton of pressure because I'm charging after this goal, right? This thing of being a UFC fighter. But it's because I'm going to be safe. It's because I'm going to be protected. But I charge. I started as the cleaner of the schools that I now own. This is, again, goes back to the story of don't let anybody tell you no. I walked in and I said, hey, I don't have any money. I had met my teacher, Amal Easton, about a year before. And I dabbled a little bit my freshman year, but I got a girlfriend too, and it was my first real girlfriend, and we all know how that goes. So I thought I was in love. I was in love. I shouldn't say thought. I was in love, but it was the first time experiencing it. So she broke up with me, and I go back, and I'm like, hey, I still don't have any money. And he's like, man, it's your lucky day. You can clean the school and trade. And I was like, well, fuck. Dan, I curse sometimes. It slips out. Sorry. I was like, yeah, let's go. And I never missed. I never missed a cleaning shift. That the cleaning of the school became so important to me because jiu-jitsu became so important to me. It saved my life before, martial arts did through my younger years. And I was seeing how, okay, I'm just going to dive into this because I was kind of ousted by my friend group again in college. And it was just this weird thing, like they all, the whole group, me, my girlfriend, and our friends, and I felt like I was being pushed out again. So I dove all the way back into martial arts, and it worked. It worked. I trained my ass off. I don't recommend this to anyone, any of you. I would miss school sometimes to train, because that's what I loved. But I really, really, really loved it. Like when I say love, like, I don't know how to explain love in the way that I love martial arts. So it is my passion. So, and we're going to come back to this passion. This is one of what I like to call the 3 Ps, the first of the 3 Ps. So passion, I found my passion. I knew what it was. And I just charged. And it worked. I became a champion in jiu-jitsu. And I was doing my thing. I was working at a bar, and then one night my wife, I'm married now at this time, and she looks at me and she goes, hey, so this jiu-jitsu thing, it's really cool and all, but what do you think about making some money, like getting a job? And I was like, oh, a job. Nobody wants that shit, right? Who wants a job? And I worked at a bar. That's how I was working. Excuse me. That's how I was making money. And I was like, no, I'm not getting a job. I'll fight. So I called the promoter the next day, got a fight, and boom. And I just, it boom, takes off, I get on The Ultimate Fighter, which is the reality TV show. My career takes off. I fight in the UFC. I get a little bit of fame, but you got to remember, you got to rewind to why it is that I was fighting. I was fighting because I was hiding this demon, this devil that was buried really, really, really deep. This fear, no one's going to love me. No one's going to like me. I won't be accepted, and this fear my whole life had caused a lot of anxiety because the fear actually came true, right? All the stories of the Holocaust, all the stories from my dad telling me that we won't be safe, my house, all of this. So the fear wasn't just fear for me. It was a real thing. And that's why I was fighting. So there became a lot of pressure on each and individual fight. Fighting is enough pressure in and of itself. You fight 4 times a year, right? That's an hour because it's 15 minutes a fight. You make all your money based on this hour, how you make a living, how you feed your family. If you have a bad 30 minutes, you had a bad year, right? Now what are the people going to do to me? How are they going to treat me if I lose. So this build up, this, I hid this demon, I like to call it, with a little bit of bravado, which you do need for some fighting. You need some bravado. You need this edge about you that says, I am the best and you will not beat me. Because if you don't have that, if you believe someone's better than you, then you're going to have an even bigger problem. But I didn't really believe, right? I didn't really believe that was true. I was trying to fake that was true. And the cage never lies, because when the cage shuts, it's just you and somebody else in there. And your true character will always shine. And for me, it was sometimes great and sometimes not. And where that ended was me getting released. I was cut from the UFC, but I was lucky. I was really, really lucky. I was already looking at the building that I was going to put my Denver school in. I was buying into the Denver Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school that my teacher Amal owned. And I was already looking at that building to purchase. I purchased it a couple months later, and boom, we took off on this road of, I won't call it entrepreneurship yet, because entrepreneurship to me, is the idea of multiple things. It's not just one thing. I was a businessman. I became a businessman because I had one business. But it started my entrepreneurial journey. You have to have one to start. And it went great. Couldn't have been better. We crushed it. We absolutely crushed it. By 2016, I had 4 schools, and it's amazing. It is amazing. I have 2 kids now. My life couldn't be better. Nice house, all of it. Go on this nice vacation to Maui, come back, and what should be a little jet lag turns into the worst 9 months of my life. I come home, I can't sleep, and this demon said, "Hey, Elliot, it's time for you. You can't run from me anymore. I'm going to sit right here until you look at me dead in the eye and you walk this walk with me." And 9 months of not sleeping, panic attack after panic attack. The first 5 days was 5 days straight, no sleeping, and excuse me. And it was brutal, again, more of the luck of my life. One of my best friends is a doctor. He's my doctor. And at the end of that 5 days, I completely broke, bawling and crying. And I call him, and he's like, okay. And, this anxiety thing wasn't new to him. He knew I'd been struggling, mildly, mediumly, on and off for my whole adult life. He's like, it's time, Elliot. We have to take some steps. You have to take some real steps here. Therapy, a long-term anxiety med, but the long-term anxiety meds, they don't work right away. They take some time. And he was like, and you need some help right now. And he prescribed me some sleeping pills and some Xanax to just to get myself through this dark period. I know you guys are really young and it might not comprehend, but what it does. But my dark period was so dark that I could take 2 sleeping pills and 1 milligram of Xanax to try to stay awake, to try to put myself to sleep, and I would stay awake sometimes. And that's a lot. Like that's a lot. And it's not. It wasn't for fun. It was to try to get some relief from this monster, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't get any fucking relief, except slowly over time. Slowly over time, it started to get better when I started to talk to him. When I started to talk to this anxiety that's on my shoulder over here, and I started to say, hey, let's try to dive into this anxiety. Here comes my second P. Let's try to find some power with him. Let's try to find some power. What is power? Your power is this thing that makes you amazing in the world. It might not make you a lot of money and it might not make you famous, but man, that shit is pointless. It makes you amazing. And that's what we want to try to be. We want to try to touch another human's life. We want to try to be as amazing as we can. And that's your power, however, whatever that is. And your power, and my power led me to my purpose. And your purpose, the way I see your purpose is you just give it to the world. You just give it away, and you just watch what comes back. And that's what I started to do. That's what I learned through this 9-month process of finding, I knew what my passion was, but then finding my power and my power, it was in the, I have a podcast and I wrote a book and called The Gospel of Fire. It was in the hottest part of the flame, right? Like that really hot part where you think you're not going to be able to get through. You think it's going to burn you and burn you to ash, but it doesn't. It doesn't. What it actually does is it forges a sword that is unbreakable. It might crack, but it's unbreakable. And once you can feel that, once you can grasp onto that, and once you can keep charging, the world is yours, guys. The world is so yours. So there's a lot of setbacks. You know, there's a lot of setbacks. I still have setbacks. All I have done in my entire life is fail just a little bit less. And I just keep doing it. I keep going, okay, we could be more skillful here. We could be more skillful here. And you keep going down this path of what here, I'll tilt my screen a little bit. Can everyone see the posters behind me? Yes. This one over here is Dr. Martin Luther King, right? And what he says, and these are my two favorite quotes. And it's like, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And you got to love yourself first and foremost. And then second of all, this one over here, it's the Teddy Roosevelt quote. It's the man in the arena. You got to keep walking into the cage. You know, whatever your arena is, it doesn't have to be an actual physical cage, right? It's not going to be what my arena was, a cage, but you have to walk. You have to constantly, consistently make the walk. And you have to do right here what it says at the end. You know, you have to dare greatly. Where is it? Hold on. Come on, Elliot. By daring greatly. So, you know, if you fail, at least you won't fail while daring greatly, so that your place shall not be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. You know, know both of them. Know both of them so well, because the victory, everyone, you know, especially in this entrepreneurial world, everyone wants this right now, right? Like I want follows and money and whatever it is that you're charging, you want it now. But man, the sweetness is in the wait. You know, the sweetness is it's so much. The juice is so worth the squeeze, and there's so much more juice. I said I was at a fight this weekend, you know, and it's this young girl. You know, it's this young girl. She's 26 years old. She had a baby when she was 15, and in this little town in Texas. And she was popular before, and now she's then, you know, then not, you know, then outcast. And she moved her whole life up here a year ago to come train with me. Like I'm her head coach. And it's been a rough year, you know, you got to get to know your fighter. Sanibel will tell you, right? Like it's not like this instant connection, like, oh, coach, fighter. You have to get to know each other. And it's this really deep emotional thing. So the first fight, we lost. The best she's ever fought, you know, the best she's ever fought, but she lost. Such improved. The second fight, her husband gets COVID, test positive for COVID the day before the fight, or the day of the fight. So they pull the fight. So we do a whole camp, pull the fight, no, nothing. Next fight, beat this girl's ass, draw somehow. And we're like, what? And then finally last night, you saw her just come to fruition, right? A year with me with nothing that she wanted, nothing. And for me, as I was already very open about, I get scared, right? I'm still scared to this day that people in my life will leave me, you know? And I'm like, man, this girl, she's got a whole life in front of her. I'm 40 years old and she's moving up here. She's got her daughter, leaves her daughter to come train here. Like if we don't get some results soon, like, and I love this little girl, she's going to bounce, you know? And then where am I going to be? So it scares me, you know, it scares me. My athletes scare me because you pour so much into them. My students scare me because I hope, Sanibel, you can tell how much we love all of you, you know, and you guys can always make the decision to go. But what fear tells us is to go. Fear tells us is to close off my heart and to not love, because that way I'll be safe. But it's the wrong thing. You have to enter the arena. You have to keep walking. You know, you have to keep walking and be scared. You know, it's not that you won't be scared. You're going to be scared, but you got to fucking go anyway. So I guess we'll stop there and see what it is that you guys want to talk about. And I'll talk about anything you want.
Awesome, Elliot. Thanks for sharing and being open and vulnerable. I mean, I think all that came through with the videos I watched of you in the last 24 hours as well.
Yeah.
I think I want to if you don't mind, have you speak a little bit more to mindset.
Yeah.
That is something
Yep.
that this group talks about all the time,
Right.
And they study. Many of them are studying and reading books, and so if you could speak a little bit more to mindset,
Of course, yes.
we'll go down that road a little bit.
So your mindset, mindset was what I didn't have during my professional career. Mindset, my mind is where I was weak, and this is what didn't allow my true self to shine. It didn't allow my skills, my physical skills. I was very good at jujitsu, and I was a very good student, and I learned, because I worked so hard. And my mindset was that, man, if I just outwork you, and I only, but that's not the truth. Okay. That is not the truth. Yes, it is part of the truth. You must outwork everyone in what you want to do. You must, but you have to work on this. It's not just this work or the computer work. It's this work, and I ask you all a very, very simple question. Who are you? It's the most important question you can answer. You can have. Who are you? I'll tell you who I am. I'm a father. And inside of that fatherhood, I have a husband, right? I'm a husband because I do this with my wife. I am a teacher. I am a student. I am a fighter, and I am a survivor. All of these things together, they make me enough. And the reason that those things that I identify as those very, very, very specific things is because I challenge any of you right now to tell me when one of them won't be true. When I die, will they be true? If my kids die, will they be true? Right? Like that's the worst thing possible is my kids going. What all those things: father, teacher, student, fighter, survivor. When I die, survivor won't be true. That's true because I'll be dead. Okay. But it will be true up until that point. And for the rest of it, it's true. It's always true. It's never not true. So I know who I am. And since I know who I am, nothing fucks with me. Because now I get to just go out there and try. It doesn't touch who I am. Oh, I did it well? Great. Good for me. Doesn't touch me. Let's do it more skillful. Oh, I didn't do it so well. Oh well, good. That sucked. Let's take that information and learn now. Events literally just become information for me. Literally, they're just information of how to be more skillful. I don't say the words good and bad. Okay? Because good and bad get you to best and worst. When you're the best, what's the goal? It's more skill. When you're the worst, what's the goal? More skill. So I use the words that I'm going to be more skillful. I only use the word skill and less skill or unskillful. And I just say, hey, that wasn't skillful, Elliot. I try not to use the word should, because should is just the word could with shame. And why would we put shame on ourselves when we're doing something? Just because we did it unskillfully. I've only done things mostly in my life unskillfully. Every once in a while, I do it with some skill. Every once in a while. It's not a lot. It's not, you don't get these gems often of skill, but man, you get a little more skillful. And all of that starts with loving yourself. So we must love ourselves. And I repeat these things every day. This mindset is a practice. I wake up in the morning, I meditate. After I meditate, I do I say, I'm not very religious, but I guess it's like praying. I get on my knees and I pray a little bit to whatever it is that I'm praying to. I don't even really care. I'm praying to me almost. I repeat what's on my forearm here. It's in Greek. The impediment of action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle is the way. If it's hard, go do it. Go do it. That is the trigger point. If I'm scared, I go. That's my trigger. That's a yes. I don't want it to be a yes, but it's a yes. I'm very scared of it, but when I get very scared, gotta go. After that, I do it. I make the 4 agreements. The 4 agreements is a book. Be impeccable with my word. Take nothing personally. Make no assumptions. And the 4th agreement is always do your best, but I don't like the word best. So I say always look for the most skillful action. I repeat my I ams, father, right, all of them, and then I get up and I go. At night, before I go to bed. And look, I do this all while holding these mala beads. And I'm kind of a Buddhist, but not really a Buddhist, I guess. Like I mix them all. But these beads really help me. They help me with my anxiety. I touch them, and when I meditate, I hold them so that my mind gets used to it's called neurolinguistic processing, I think, right? Where you touch something, you do something physical while you're doing something else physical, like breathing, getting calm. So now sometimes when I start to trip out, I can just touch the beads and it brings me back to homeostasis, some calmness, And then so at night I hold my beads and I think about all the people that I love in my life and all the people that I'm super grateful for that have touched my life in such an amazing way. And I think about how privileged I am, to have the opportunity right now. You guys, tonight when I do my thing, I don't know you all personally, but I'm going to thank you because it's my privilege. And this is just how I see the world. It's my privilege that any of you would come on here and spend an hour of your time with me. Like you could have all clicked off by now. There's Dan, you're the instructor, and then there's me. So there's 16 of you. See, somebody just clicked off. You could all click off. You could, but it's my privilege that any of you don't. Why? Because it's your time. It's not my time. It's your time. You can't get this hour back. You'll never get from 5:30 to 6:30 on Sunday, June the 6th, 2021 again. But you chose to spend it talking to some old bald guy that failed. That just failed his way forward. So it's not your privilege, it's my privilege. And that's just how I see the world. And that's how I keep myself very neutral. I try not to get, as you notice with my I ams, as far as mindset goes, they're not positive. I never say I'm the best. I never say I am the champion. None of that. Okay. They're very neutral. They're just middle of the road. They're, on the scale of a 1 to 10, they're like a 6.5. And I like to chill right at 6.5. I don't like to get up to 10 because you know what happens. If you get up to 10, where are you going to go down to? You're going to go down to 1, but if I can stay between 6.5 and 5, and every once in a while, you get to touch 8 or 9. And then, and then every once in a while you dip down to 4. It happens. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, but hey, when it starts to happen, just like my girl last night, she has I ams. I make her text me. We get on Zoom every morning. We talk about her mindset. We talk about her mindset, how to get ready for a fight so she's not so scared, so she can walk, so she can make her greatness shine. And last night before her fight, she's out. She's like, her first I am is, I am amazing. And I'm saying, why are you amazing, girl? And she goes, I'm a mother. I'm resilient. I'm determined. I'm a student. And she goes through hers. And she's fucking scared shitless last night. I just see her mouth and I'm amazing. I am amazing. I am amazing. I am amazing. And these I ams, they can be so important. Because I challenge you all right now. I want you to think of a pink elephant and a gray giraffe at the same time. Not one then the other. You can't do it. Nobody can. You can only have one thought at a time. So when you get scared, when it's time to make whatever walk it is for you to walk, right? And this is why your I am has become so fucking important. When it's time for you to make that walk and you don't want to do it, right? And you want to turn around and you want to run because of all your insecurities and all the things that your parents messed you up with and all of this, right? Because don't worry, everyone has that story. My parents messed me up too. I told you they were amazing. Whatever, they messed me up. I got 2 little boys down the stairs right now. Guess what? I'm messing them up. Okay. Something that happened to you. I'm stoked to see a lot of dark people. Guess what? The world's not fucking fair. It's not fair. You're right. Okay. It's 100% not fair. It will never be fair for you. Me, Dan, older people that have been successful, we need to do everything we can to make the world more fair, more opportunities and equal opportunities for everyone. But don't you let that be an excuse. Don't you let that be an excuse. That's a bullshit excuse. Even if it's true, but it doesn't matter. You can do it. You can do it. Every single one of you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you because, oh, this or oh, that. No, do you know who you are? If you know who you are, you can do it. You're going to be scared. It's not going to be fair. But if you know who you are, I'm sorry, I'm getting all excited here. You go, you charge, you say, fuck you to the fear, and you go and you walk.
All right, Elliot. Thanks. Thanks
Sorry, I
for
got a little
the
intense.
mindset.
I get all fired up when I talk about it.
Well, I think everyone else is getting fired up listening to you, so it's fine. I love it, love it, love it. We have about a half hour left. I wanted to give the members an opportunity to ask you some questions.
Yeah, for sure.
See how this goes. I have one other thing I want to get to. Maybe we'll circle around to that at about 10 minutes left. But what we typically do is have them just type their questions in the chat. If you can turn that on and look in there.
Mm-hmm. What steps do you take to get out of the dark 9-month period in your life? What steps do you use now to get out of a funk? Okay, so the dark period, the 9-month period of my life. First of all, I had amazing friends. Again, the luck of my life. You know, I had a group of people that were so amazing to me that while this was going on, while this period was going on, they would stay awake with me, you know, all night long. Sometimes they would stay on the phone with me. So that one of the things was I created a tribe. I already had a tribe. So with whatever you're doing right now, I have some rules for my house, for my kids. And rule number 1 is they have to do jujitsu. Rule number 2 is they have to learn how to swim figuratively and metaphorically. Rule number 3, if when they speak to someone, you have to look someone in the eye. You have to give respect. You have to demand respect back. Rule number 4 is if you're scared, you have to do it. Rule number 5 is you learn how to make your money work for you. You don't work for your money, even though that starts with working for your money. And then rule number 6 is you ride or die. You have a group of friends, okay? You have people in your life that when the phone rings, there's no questions asked, okay? There's no questions asked when the phone rings. Yes, I go. Because you know that they won't call you for some bullshit. Okay. So I had that tribe. I have that tribe still today. I'll never lose that tribe. First of all, I had a tribe. That's what helped get me through one. Secondly, a lot of therapy. A lot of therapy. I went to therapy every single week, twice a week until I still go. I went in crisis. I like to say my teeth were falling out. And I was trying to brush them, but brushing your teeth don't help your teeth when they're falling out, when they're rotting. Okay. So I still go now so that my teeth don't fall out. I brush my teeth. That's my therapy. So I go to therapy. And she made me cry, you know, she made me cry. It's a 70-year-old lady now. And she just, you know, she made me step into myself in a way to see that the way out was the way in. And I promise you all, the way out is the way in. You actually don't want to be out. So a little more mindset stuff there. Can you talk about what it was like for you diving into the anxiety when you were in the dark place? What it what it looked like? What it looked like? What did my anxiety look like? Look, I was afraid not to sleep. Okay, that's what would happen. I would, noon every day, I'd start freaking out because the nighttime was coming and I wasn't going to be able to sleep. And if I didn't sleep, and I wrote this down in my journal every day to get it out of my head, because the story we tell ourselves in our head can be so much more difficult than what's actually going on. So if you put it down on paper, or speak it to the world, it releases. So I used to have to write down, I'm going to go crazy. My wife's going to leave me. My wife will stick around for a little bit. She's going to get tired of it. She's going to leave me. She's going to take my kids. She's going to get a judge to say that I can't see the kids. If I can't see my kids and I have nothing to do with them, I'm going to fucking kill myself. And I just had this written page after page after page after page in this journal, but it got it out, right? It got the demon out. I looked under the bed, right? We're all scary. We're all scared when we're 4 or 5 years old. The boogeyman under the bed. What do your parents do? They show you under the bed, right? Like, hey, nothing's there. So you can see that it's not real. That thought wasn't real, but it was real as long as it was spinning. You got to get the spin. You got to stop the spin. How do you stop the spin? You speak it to the world. You speak it to the world, just like you speak your I ams to the world. Okay. The positive and the negative. If you're spinning negative, start writing. Write it down. Write the thought down. Get it out. Really helps. How do you feel about the ego? Is it a bad thing, a good thing? I know you said this, said that getting inside the cage. I'm thinking when the ego, I'm not a fan of the ego. No, I'm not a big fan of it. I try to keep him, I try to keep him in check. I definitely try to keep him in check. I'm aware that he's there. I'm aware that he's there, but I try to talk to him as much as possible. I try to talk to him as much as possible. If you think, what do you mean, Elliot? What do you mean talk to him? You talk to yourself more than you talk to anybody else in the world. There's nobody you talk to as much as yourself. So you better talk skillfully, and you better talk to your best friend in you, and you better talk to your devil in you, and everything in between. So I try to talk to my ego as much as possible. Jessica, what does my typical day look like? First of all, if you're still here, can I see you? Can you wave for me real fast? Josiah, where's Josiah? Josiah, where's Josiah?
I'm right here.
Hey, all right, good. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Josiah. Abby, where's Abby? Hey, Abby. All right. Sarah, where's Sarah? All right, Sarah, there we go. Mahad, where's Mahad? All right, Mahad. Yes, thank you. Where's my typical day? Jessica Wilson, where's Jessica? Okay, hi, Jessica. My typical day. It got I got COVID about a month ago. So it's been a little messed up since then. I had a crazy COVID experience. I contracted COVID 2 or 3 days before I got the fucking vaccine. So what I thought then was vaccine symptoms wasn't vaccine symptoms. It was COVID. So I wasn't like sitting in my house either for the past year. Like I had schools to run and fighters to train. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. It's been a little off just because I've been a little fatigued since having COVID. But normally I like to wake up 5:36 because workers work when no one else is working. And I'm trying to build my online thing, like my podcast and my personal brand, this stuff that I do. But I have these schools. I have 7 martial arts schools to run. We have 150 employees. It was COVID. We were shut down for 2 months completely. There was no money, all this stuff. So I had to get up. So I get up early. I meditate. I have my gratitude time. I write a little, I read a little, and then I get to it. And then it just depends on the day and what we got going on. I'm super lucky, Jessica. I work from sun up till sundown and past, but it just depends on the day. I love teaching. So I fill a couple of my days completely with teaching. I love to teach. You have to do what you love to do. I heard what is house hacking? What is that, Dan?
It's a real estate investing strategy. It works really, really well for young people where you would let's say you buy a triplex and you live in one unit and you rent the other 2 units out, and the rent that you get from the other 2 units, basically in a perfect world, you live in there for free and you're building equity with it.
Got it. Okay. Sounds good. So look, this is my question to all of you is like, what do you want to do and why? So, and I guess this kind of goes into my day. I don't ever do anything I don't want to do. Nothing. I refuse to do. I refuse to attach my dollar to my hour. Okay. I don't, when I teach private lessons, free. Why? Because I teach them to the people that I want to, because I know that they're on the charge of being amazing at what they're doing. So therefore I teach, I'll give you a private lesson all day long in jiu-jitsu. If you actually wanted one, I'd probably charge $1,000 an hour, but fuck that. No way. I refuse to attach my dollar to my hour. Very hard rule of mine, because then you just become a lawyer, a really high paid lawyer, and then you work 80 hours a week, and then you don't see your family, and you don't see your wife, and you don't do it. You'll have a ton of money. So make sure whatever it is you're doing, you better love it, because it can't feel like trust me, I have to have meetings that I don't want to have sometimes. Right when I say I don't want to do, I only do what I want to do. Like plenty of stuff comes up that I don't want to do, but the thing up here, baby, we golden, and we're always golden, because I'm always doing whatever it is that I want to do. I know where I'm charging at. I know where I'm charging at. I have where I want to be in 10 years right next to me, right over here. What do I want my life to look like in 10 years? And then I know what am I going to have to achieve in 5 years to make those 10-year things happen? What am I going to have to achieve in 3 years to make the 5-year, 1 year to make the 3-year? And what do I have to achieve this month? What do I have to achieve this quarter? okay, to lead to my 1-year goals. And you break that all the way down to what do you have to do today? But if the things over here, if I don't love them, my things, go travel with, I want my kids love fucking sports. So they want to play college sports, and we'll see. Right. But I want to travel with the boys if they're still on that path. And I want to do speaking gigs. I want to do speaking gigs, paid speaking gigs around the country as wherever they're playing that weekend. I want to do quarterly retreats, like where you come and we do jiu-jitsu and mindset and whatever it is. I want to have 3 big sources of revenue. And I still want to be teaching on Tuesday and Thursday, like I'm teaching right now, because I love my students. They saved my life. So that's where my life points, inside the trips. I want to travel with my wife 3 times a year, 3 big trips with my wife inside of them. So, yeah, I know where I know where I'm going. I know what I have to do to get there. So, but I love it. I don't, if it feels like work, you're going to burn out. You're going to get tired. So make sure whatever it is you do, you love it. Where are we at? What is my typical day? How does one get started in jiu-jitsu as a side hobby? Taylor, where are you? Show me can I see you, Taylor?
No, sorry, I'm driving right now.
Okay, no worries. Taylor, simple, bro. Where do you live?
I'm in the Denver area.
You're in the Denver area, man. Lucky you,
Yes,
baby.
sir.
South Santa Fe, 1304 South Santa Fe, baby. Let's go. That's how you get started. It's that simple. How much does it cost? Well, we'll make a deal. We'll talk. Okay. How old are you, Taylor?
I'm 19.
You're 19. I'll see you Tuesday. I'll be at the school all day Tuesday.
All right. Thanks,
We're
man.
going to find out if you're interested or committed. A lot of people are interested. We'll see if anybody, somebody gave me this advice. Elliot, are you interested or are you committed? And interested is interested. Committed, it's committed. Do you do your affirmations? You said earlier to express love to yourself. No, I do my affirmations. I know I love myself. I do my affirmations to make sure I show up in the way that I want to show up in the world. Sometimes the ego can get the best of us, and sometimes we can be touched in a certain way, or sometimes, like for me, I can speak in a certain way that isn't so impeccable with my word. And I really try really, really hard to be impeccable with my word and not take things personally. And so that's why I do my affirmations. My personal affirmations, like, who am I? It just reminds me that there's no event in this world that can touch me. There's no event in this world that can touch me. So it makes failure not so scary, right? Because we can be so scared of that. And if you don't admit of the fear, okay, if you don't admit where the obstacle is, then it's going to come bite you in a way that you don't really want it to bite you. When you don't really want it to bite you, when and where and how you're not going to enjoy that. But if I wake up and I look at that demon every day, and then I look at him in the eye and say, this is where I'm going to blow this. This is where I'm going to blow this. I'm going to blow it with what I say. I'm going to blow it with taking things personally. I'm going to blow it with thinking that that it's somebody else's fault. Everything in my life is my fault. There's not a single thing in my life that's not my fault. So, you have change? Hello? There we go. Yeah. So yeah, nothing, everything. Extreme ownership. It's a great book by Jocko Willink. Extreme. And I say that, and I say everything in my life is my fault, because if somebody else does it to you guys, what can you do about it? What can you do about it? You're fucked. You're fucked. But if it's your fault, if you own it all, now you get to move and groove and do it a little differently. Isaiah, did I say your name right? Isaiah? Still here? Did I say your name right? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's Isaiah.
Isaiah. Okay.
That's pretty close. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Hey, I
No
watched
worries.
your TED Talk, which was absolutely top notch, and was wondering, what emotions did you have before and after being on the stage? Was it nerve-wracking or the polar opposite? Were you always was I always good at speaking in public, Isaiah? No, man. When I first started teaching martial arts, I was 13 years old, and I was supposed to be in charge of the class, and the owner of the school watched me talk, and he said he's not allowed to talk in front of anybody ever again. So no, I wasn't always good at speaking in public. Was I nervous for the TED Talk? No, because I did the work. I wasn't nervous. Isaiah, I have to say too, after fighting, everything else gets the volume turned down a little bit too, homie. So, it is what it is. But I admitted my nerves probably. I did my stuff. I did my thing. I admitted my nerves, and I knew I did the preparation. So I did all of the work possible that I could have possibly done. I knew I couldn't have worked harder. I knew no one was going to punch me in the face. There was no hospital trip afterwards. So that is a nice thing for me that I do get to rely back on. And I just said hello to the nerves, and I went out there and I did my thing. So thank you for enjoying it and watching it. I appreciate it. What do you wish you could tell yourself? Nothing. Okay. This whole thing of what would you tell yourself 18 years ago so that you would avoid blah, 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 or this or that, man, I wouldn't be right here. I wouldn't be right here in this moment talking to you guys. And if I wouldn't be right here talking in this moment, talking to you guys, then what else would I want to do? You can't change you cannot change the present or the past. So I regret nothing. I regret absolutely nothing, not a single thing. I wouldn't have those two boys that I love with all of my heart and soul downstairs. Who knows what little thing would you have changed? What little thing at 18? Because I hadn't met my wife yet when I was 18 years old. What if I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go be friends with that person. And being friends with that person would have led me down a different path, which seems like this nothing little decision. You can't, no. Because now you're trying to control events, and you can't control events. Events are going to happen. The only thing that matters is how you respond to events. Change nothing. Absolutely nothing. Do I wish I could be the champion? Yeah, sure. Am I? No. So fuck it. How do you balance striving versus self-acceptance? Josiah, can you tell me what you mean by that? Can you come on and tell me what you mean?
For sure. So basically, how do you, compared to always being like super like content with what you're doing right now? Because there's a certain level where you need to not like hate where you are. You can't hate yourself for being where you are, but you also have to always be improving, kind of. You always have to be seeking to grow, improving on that 10-year vision board and stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So who are you comparing yourself to is my question, Josiah.
It's a good question. I think I compare myself to other people who are doing the things I want. So whether it's either people, even in this chat, people who already have kind of the stuff that I want, or people that already have the skills that I want.
Yeah, the journey of gaining those skills is going to be so fucking cool, dude. Whether it takes you 10 years or 10 months, I don't know. The journey of acquiring the skills is going to be so cool. And everybody else on their chat, this chat, they're not playing the same deck you are. You have a totally unique deck that no one's ever played before. So why would you judge yourself based on anybody here? You don't know what their experiences was. Their experience isn't your experience. So just worry about you. What are you giving to the world? What are you giving to the world? Not what are you taking from the world? What are you giving to the world? What are you giving back? Why is it that whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever it is that you're trying to make happen, why does anybody want to hear it or listen to it or do it? Even if it's play baseball, right? Even if it's play basketball, I don't care what it is. But if you want to be the next Michael Jordan, don't any of you put LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan in that chat. I will get off this phone call right now. Then if you want to be the next MJ, well then cool. Go be better than MJ. Be better than me. That's for sure. Be more skillful than me. We all need to shoot higher than that. And I love myself to death, but shoot higher than that. Because shoot higher than that. I didn't have a Dan in my life, organizing this. So we were starting lower. Dan, did you have a Dan in your life? No. So, we're starting with playing with a different deck. You guys are going to be so much more skillful than us. Stupid. So just be more skillful tomorrow than you were today, Josiah. Don't worry about anybody. Don't worry about judging yourself based on anybody else. They're not playing with the same hand. They're not even playing the same game.
Thank you.
Yeah. Curious, what is it the feeling like when you enter a UFC octagon, and how have you translated that experience to other areas of your life? The experience of entering. So once the bell rings, look, there was this guy named Burt Watson, and we used to call him the baby. Excuse me, he doesn't work for the UFC anymore, but he was a babysitter to the stars, and he made you feel like $1 million, an absolute $1 million. You know, when you were getting ready to fight, he'd be in the back. He used to be Joe Frazier's manager. If you guys know who Joe Frazier is, the heavyweight champ of the world boxer. And he would be every fight, be like, "We rolling, yeah!" And he'd scream it like the whole arena in the back could hear him. And you knew it was your time to walk. And there was 12 fights, so 24 fighters. Did it for everybody, man. He did it for everybody to help you make the walk into the arena, because he knew how scary it was. He knew that you were so petrified, scared. You know, so what was it like? Petrifying. After you get in, not so petrifying, because now you're just on autopilot, you know? Now you're just on autopilot, but God damn, it was scary. How do you transform it to life? Just like I just said, make the walk. I'll never walk into a cage again, like to fight. Never going to happen. You can pay me $10 million. Nope. Not worth it to me. But I walk into a lot of arenas, you know? I walk into a lot of arenas, and I walk into a lot of arenas in life where whatever. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. It ain't no thing. I've been beat up in front of 2 million people. Word. What advice can you give me about becoming a public speaker and getting speaking engagements? Damon, where are you, Damon? Let me see you. All right. How you doing, Damon?
I'm doing good.
Get a story, homie. You know, I'll be super honest. You better have an amazing story. How old are you, Damon?
20.
20. Just go meet people. Go meet people and do a lot of things, man. Just network with as many people that are in the arena as possible. I wouldn't even try to speak yet if I were you. You know, don't even try to speak yet, because who are you going to speak to? You know, who are you going to speak to? Like 40-year-olds don't want to hear 20-year-olds, 50-year-old, you know, CEOs don't, you know, but go meet as many people, start building your network right now, you know, and get to know as many people as you possibly can in the arena that you want to be in, so that you're always like a bug in their ear, you know, you're always just like, you're always there. You know, almost don't be annoying, but almost annoying, right? You're like, oh, all right, Damon will do this job. Oh, Damon. Oh, there's Damon again. Goddamn, Damon's there again. All right, Damon's here again. Man, I bet you Damon's going to speak one of these times. Oh, shit. I had a last minute speaker fall out. Boom, roll. Let's go. Right?
Gotcha.
Have a speech ready. Have a talk ready, man. You know, be prepared to fill in. Be prepared to beat Tom Brady when Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. And then you become the GOAT of all time. That's what I would say. Don't try to make it happen yet. You know, don't try to make it happen. You find people. People are the key. People are the key to this game. You know, it's whatever game you're playing. It's a people business. Random question. Do you listen to Impact Theory or Tom Belay? I think you'd be a great guest on there. No, Jessica, where are you, Jessica? I haven't. Is Impact Theory a podcast? Yeah. Okay. I'll check it out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. Can you talk about how you are building your personal brand? Oh, Dan, I'm so terrible at it, bro. I'm so terrible. What do? I try to, I try to be very consistent and authentic on my Instagram. I try to be consistent with like my podcast, for example. What's the theme of the podcast? Rather than be all over the place, this and that. Like the theme is how other people found their power. So, and I try to be very vulnerable. I try to let people see my great successes and my great failures, because the truth is always somewhere in between. So that I'm terrible at it. I'm so terrible at it. very, very unskillful. I'm working on it. One word, Suns. Yeah, Damon, I feel you, baby. Right? My MJ never went out in the first round with the returning world champions, baby. I feel you. That's right. Right? Toon Squad. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, guys. Elliot, thank you for being here. What do you think about complete sacrifice for the sake of your goals? Jabbar, complete sacrifice. How you doing, Jabbar? Thank you. Let's go. That's what I think about it. Let's go. You better know you want it. I'm not a test the water type of guy. I don't dip my toe into the shallow end of the pool. I jump all in. You know, I jump all the way in, and I'm petrified of it. And it's my biggest curse probably, because I get hurt a lot. You know, I'm with this big loudness and big guy, UFC fighter, yada yada. I'm a very sensitive, soft, emotional person, you know, but I know how I do best, and I do best by jumping all the way in, you know, and let's go, let's roll, like ride this bitch till the fucking wheels fall off.
Elliot, love it, man. I can't thank you enough for taking time. I mean, we're at the end of our hour together, so I want to respect your time. And I think we got through all the questions, so that worked out perfectly. But can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day. I know you said you're exhausted.
No, it's good. It's good.
Fight and from Vegas, and but definitely great to connect with you. I think I speak for everybody on the call that you know, your message was heard loud and clear. Like, just so much good advice. I didn't mention this, but we record the meeting, and our group has about 80 people in it. So many people who can't make it on a certain watch the recording later. So you'll be influencing a lot more than who's just on the call today with your hour time with us. So
sounds great.
So much appreciated, man.
Guys, I'm on Instagram and I try to respond to everybody. So Fire Marsh here, I'll type it in the chat for you all. And I really try to respond to every single person that ever hits me up. So please hit me up. Hit me up if you have anything, if you need anything. If I can do anything for you, I'll definitely try my best to do it. I love people. You know, I love people, and I love working with people, and I love seeing what it is we can do. You know, we are all very similar. We are not so different. Turn off the news. Don't listen to that bullshit. You can do it. You know, you can do it, and we need to help each other.
If you like this video and want to see more like it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You should also go check out our website and Instagram, which are both linked below this video. Thanks again for watching. Now go and get your freak on.